I just finished reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, and I have to say, this book completely shifted how I think about productivity and personal growth. What really struck me was that Covey isn't just giving you tips and tricks. He's asking you to fundamentally rethink your character, your principles, and how you show up in the world. It's one of those rare books that feels both practical and deeply philosophical at the same time. So, Stephen R. Covey published this back in 1989, and it's honestly aged incredibly well. The premise is simple but profound. True effectiveness comes from aligning your habits with timeless principles, things like integrity, fairness, and human dignity. Covey argues that most self-help advice focuses on the personality ethic, which is all about surface-level techniques, quick fixes, and social image. But what we really need, he says, is a return to the character ethic, building effectiveness from the inside out. I found this distinction fascinating because it explains why so many productivity hacks feel empty after a while. Covey wants us to become genuinely effective people, not just appear effective. The book is organized around 7 habits that move you from dependence to independence, and finally to interdependence. It's a progression, a journey of maturity. And what I loved most is that these aren't just work habits. They touch every area of life, relationships, parenting, personal goals, everything. All right, let me walk you through the 7 habits, because each one builds on the last in a really elegant way. The first 3 habits are about achieving what Covey calls private victory, mastering yourself before you can effectively work with others. Habit 1 is be proactive. This one hit me hard. Covey distinguishes between proactive people who take responsibility for their lives and reactive people who blame circumstances or other people. Proactive people focus on their circle of influence, the things they can actually control, rather than wasting energy on their circle of concern. I realized how much time I spend complaining about things I can't change, and this habit challenged me to redirect that energy. Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. Covey asks you to envision your own funeral and think about what you'd want people to say about you. Morbid maybe, but incredibly clarifying. He introduces the idea of a personal mission statement, a written declaration of your values and goals. I'd never done this before, and writing one showed me how many of my daily actions weren't aligned with what I truly value. Habit 3 is put first things first. This is about time management, but not in the usual sense. Covey presents a matrix with 4 quadrants based on urgency and importance. Most of us live in quadrant 1, urgent and important, or quadrant 3, urgent but not important. But the magic happens in quadrant 2, important but not urgent. That's where things like planning, relationship building, and personal development live. Stephen Covey argues that highly effective people spend most of their time there, and I found this framework incredibly useful for rethinking my schedule. The next 3 habits are about public victory, working effectively with others. Habit 4 is think win-win. Covey challenges the scarcity mindset that says, if you win, I lose. Instead, he advocates for an abundance mentality where we seek mutually beneficial solutions. This was eye-opening for me in both professional negotiations and personal relationships. Habit 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. This might be my favorite. Covey talks about empathic listening, truly hearing someone without planning your response or projecting your autobiography onto them. I realized how rarely I actually do this and how transformative it is when I slow down and really listen. Habit 6 is Synergize. This is about creative cooperation, the idea that the whole can be greater than the sum of its parts. When people with different perspectives work together in a spirit of mutual respect, you get solutions nobody could have invented alone. Finally, Habit 7 is Sharpen the Saw, which is about self-renewal. Covey emphasizes that you need to regularly rejuvenate yourself in 4 dimensions: physical, mental, social-emotional, and spiritual. Without this, you'll burn out, no matter how well you've mastered the other habits. Here's what really gets me about this book. It's not a quick fix. Covey is honest that developing these habits takes time, discipline, and sometimes painful self-reflection. But the payoff is enormous. If you actually implement these principles, I genuinely believe your life will transform. You'll make better decisions because you're clear on your values. You'll build stronger relationships because you're listening and seeking mutual benefit. You'll accomplish more of what truly matters because you're focused on Quadrant 2 activities. And you'll have the resilience to sustain it all because you're taking care of yourself. For me personally, this book made me realize that effectiveness isn't about doing more. It's about being more intentional with everything you do. It's about moving from a reactive, scattered existence to a proactive, principle-centered life. Whether you're trying to advance your career, improve your relationships, or just feel more in control of your days, The 7 Habits gives you a complete framework. It's challenging, it requires work, but Stephen R. Covey has laid out a roadmap that actually works if you're willing to follow it. If you found this summary helpful and want more book breakdowns like this, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to hear in the comments which of the 7 habits resonates most with you. Thanks for listening.